Back to another episode of Kicking It with Coach Red, where we bring you all the news, stories, takes, and opinions about your favorite teams from the Pacific North, fresh from the good to the bad to the Mariners.
The sweet, sweet Mariners, baby.
Luck for you, we just talked about them.
This
Seahawks,
is
we
lucky
do
for
have to
you.
talk about them a little bit before we get into our annual tradition of mock draft mania. But before we do that, why don't I tell you a little bit about us? If you're looking for a guy who has been mistaken for Mel Kiper Jr. once or twice, by no means is this my final mock. There's a lot of projections I've not been able to necessarily dive in like Mel Kiper does. As you could see, a little bit new digs behind me, been busy moving and uh, living life. But it's me, your boy Coach Red. You can find me on X at the Real Coach Red, on Instagram at the real underscore Coach Red, TikTok at the Real Coach Red. Also find the show over on YouTube. Search Kicking It with Coach Red. Like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and leave a comment or two. And if you're looking for a guy who this episode every year is his least favorite
Least
episode
favorite.
and probably my favorite episode because we get to hear this guy just nail NFL draft pick names.
I
And
know I know that some of your coworkers find these episodes very pleasing. So this one's
there,
for you guys.
this is everybody's favorite from Cain.
Probably. It's either this or the dumb nickname episodes. Yeah, I'm Kane. You can find me on Twitter at Kane2406, TikTok Kane0624. Also follow the show's socials over on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Red Pod. False, false, false. Do it, freaking do it.
Like I said, this one's not going to be my most involved one. It's very early. There's a handful of guys that I know, but this last year was not a big year for college football for me, and haven't really been able to dive into the boards and to the draft prep like I usually do. But if you don't
It was
like it,
really hard with the Mariners making it so far into the postseason, the Seahawks making a run. You had to choose the Seahawks over the Huskies because you and your wife had so many things going on at during football season.
correct. So if you don't like this mock draft, you can listen to my good friend Sam Darnold here on my shirt.
Yeah, such
So,
a good shirt. Can you copy one, please? Actually, I'll just order one.
well, there we go. You can maybe do that if you land a job with the NFL announcing the names
Sure, dude.
here in the 2026 NFL Draft. The Las Vegas Raiders select
Fernando Mendoza, quarterback, Indiana.
Fernando Mendoza.
It's a
The
clear cut pick, dude.
there's no questioning this one. I know this one's locked in. The ascension that he had this year in leading Indiana to a national championship.
Sure.
Um, but he's hands down the top quarterback. The Raiders ship off Geno Smith. They really do not have an in-house
I
guy,
think
and
they
this has
have
been the
Aiden
play.
O'Connell. That's it. And I don't think they're going to be rocking Aiden O'Connell again.
And they got Kubiak in as head coach. So what you like to do with the new head coach is pair him with the quarterback of his choosing. And I think there's a lot to like with Fernando Mendoza. There's a lot more that needs to go on offensively with this team throughout the draft, especially addressing the wide receiver position. You've got a good running back in Ashton Genty. You have top flight tight end in Brock Bowers. Your defense is much improved. They made a lot of big moves in the offseason, but they didn't really hammer the wide receiver room, and that's something that I'm going to need to see them do in the draft. But
It's
you want to
tough.
give Fernando Mendoza, which they did, a top flight center. They're trying to build the offense around him, and they've done some good pieces, but not in the wide receiver room that you like to see. This is the type of landing spot with Kubiak, lineage head coach, is with his dad being a HC in the league. And it's really how you want to get the ball rolling. And you're putting a quarterback into what could be a good spot.
And it is tough for the Raiders as well because the Max Crosby trade did fall through. They were going to have an extra first round pick in this draft, which could have addressed a better situation for them at wide receiver and get one of these better wide receivers off the board earlier.
But if after what the Raiders did in free agency, I think that you would be mad if you weren't excited about Max being back on this
Oh,
team.
100% for sure, right?
And he's
But
bought back in.
also, yeah, and honestly, this is a very low end draft on the offensive side, in
Oh,
my opinion.
sorry, we're getting another card that is being brought up to the
Oh,
table. We had to
sorry,
stop we've
sorry,
got another pick coming in. At
sorry.
number two, the New York Jets select.
Jets. Arvell Reese, linebacker, Ohio State.
There's a lot of linebackers, at least in projections and a lot of mock drafts. Not a lot, but the ones that I looked at, and obviously, uh, forgot to mention this at the beginning. We don't do any trades in ours. We do it as it lies on the week. We'll take into account the trades that already happened, but we're not going to project any trades. And with this one, I was kind of going off PFF, which isn't always my favorite. They have some people inflated, but like I said, wasn't able to do as much stuff. But linebackers is a good spot in this. Arvell Reese is a big name. He's a guy that was one of the leaders on that Ohio State team that's been so good the last handful of years. And Ohio State's going to have some good representation in the NFL draft this year.
Oh yeah,
All right.
college
Pick
football is not my thing.
number three, the Arizona Cardinals select.
Sonny Styles, linebacker, Ohio State. I can't believe that they were this low.
I know, and they've got good pieces offensively. They've been bit by the injury
They
bug,
have
especially with
good
Kyler Murray.
pieces everywhere.
And I think what you really need to do is continue to help beef up this defense. And another linebacker out of Ohio State, I'm going to be honest, don't know a ton about him, but you need someone to help with this defense, whether that's potentially rushing quarterback or being the leader at that second level. It's something that I think the Cardinals need. They've had the leadership from the secondary with Buda Baker, and I think this was a good spot for him.
I mean their other young safety is a stud. Their cornerback play, they're young and twitchy, but you get them. They went with an offensive minded head coach. Kind of weird when their defense has so many good pieces. I think yes, add to this defense to kind of stop the opposing offenses, right? That's the plan. So your offense can flourish.
At pick number four, the Tennessee Titans select.
Ruben Bain Jr., edge out of Miami.
You saw some good things out of Cam Ward. Uh, you then are sitting there in a position where you bring Wandale Robinson down with you as well to this team. I think that helps address an area of need because I think their running back room is good. I think their offensive line is okay. You got DK, who's a return maven and really started picking it up in the receiving game later in the year. I think you need to address the defense. Watch the Titans
Especially
play
with
last year.
Robert Sala.
It wasn't pretty, right? It was not a very pretty affair defensively for the Titans against the Seahawks. And
No.
that was in Tennessee. They need help getting after the quarterback. Go ahead and get me one of the top edge rushers in this class in Ruben Bain Jr.
And you pair him with Robert Sala, who's one of the better defensive minds in football. I think that this is a project, and I think that is a very good place to start. You need guys to get after the quarterback and worry about the rest later.
All right, pick number five, the New York Giants.
Carnell Tate, wide receiver at Ohio State.
Losing Wandell, I think, is a big hit. He's a guy that was over 1,000 yards this year, and I think was right around 1,000 yards the year before. If not, I think he was in the high 800s or 900s. Um, he leaves town. You have Malik Neighbors coming back off injury. You have Cam Scatterbo coming off injury. You have Jackson Dart that hasn't really had a lot of playtime with Malik Neighbors at all. So you've seen how fun this team can be offensively. They've shored that side up. I think you need to go all in to support your young quarterback, and then you can address the defense later in this draft. Um, but the other thing too is Carnell Tate. It was second fiddle to Jeremiah Smith, and he plays it well, right? He was a beast at Ohio State. Going in and having not having to be being the number one wide receiver taken, but not having to be the number one wide receiver, it can be a big thing, right? You look at a lot of guys that are picked highly in the last handful of years. The first guy picked hasn't always worked out to be the best. It's been guys a little bit lower where the pressure wasn't on them so early. You kind of get a soft landing spot with him and get him into a fun offense. You're going to have this team coached extremely well by Harbaugh. Uh,
Mhm.
this could be good. And you can address Harbaugh has been traditionally a defensive minded guy. If you can put some more pieces together offensively to excel this young core you have offensively and do your tweaks defensively, I think that's going to help the Giants out immensely.
I think so too. And also getting him in a room with Malik Neighbors, with the technician that Malik Neighbors is. I think you learn a thing or two being in the same room as that guy. So great landing spot, as you said.
Yep. Pick number six, the Cleveland Browns select
Francis Mauigoa, tackle, Miami.
top tackle on the board. They did pick DeJuan Jones a couple of years. I don't love what they've got at right tackle. Go ahead and give me a guy because I think DeJuan Jones can even flip around to the right side. Go ahead if you're rocking with Sanders, which it seems like they are, yeah, or it's
New head
what
coach.
or Dylan Gabriel's your other option. So
Oh, no. Hey, don't forget, Deshaun Watson's there. He's going to be in the competition.
oh, Deshaun Watson is there, but being able to keep those guys upright, and if it is Sanders that is leading that room for you, he's a guy that holds onto the ball a while, so you're going to need some added protection. And
Mhm.
there are a lot of things that need to go right for the Browns to really ratchet it up. And I think that them refocusing in the trenches, especially since they had a mass exodus along their offensive line, I think it's key to get that reset again.
Good.
All right. At pick number seven, the Washington Commanders select
Jeremiah Love, running back out of Notre Dame.
Bob, aka Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, did not really live up to the hype last year. Dan Quinn dealt with a slew of injuries across the board, and this was a team that was playing in the NFC Championship the year prior. So going and getting a bell cow running back, that's what Dan Quinn has had when he was in Seattle, when he was in Atlanta. You had Don Foreman or Donta Freeman that was just like absolutely a stud for him, right? He wants a back that can take
Mhm.
pressure off of Jaden Daniels. They've got Scary Terry. Their defense has a lot of fun and intriguing pieces. They go ahead and get back Diami Brown. Their biggest hole right now is
Debo's still,
running back. The Debo's free
yes,
agent.
agreed. And was he?
Yeah. Jeremiah Love is hands down the top running back in this class. And the next tier, I don't even know if you're going to see, you might see someone reach in the second round, but you might not see a running back taken off the board until the third round after the first.
Yeah, and that's a fair assessment. Jeremiah Love's been all the rage the last 2 years. I mean, last year they were talking about this kid and how electric he was. Everybody's picking him to go to Washington. I mean, if he slides, gonna be crazy. I don't see him coming out of the top 10, but yeah, they
I
need a
don't
running
think the
back.
Seahawks can make a move to get there either.
Oh, no, no way.
All right, pick number 8, the New Orleans Saints select
David Bailey, edge out of Texas Tech.
Cameron Jordan is not back, and he has been a staple of that Saints defensive line. I think that they have some intriguing pieces offensively, especially bringing in Travis Etienne. Um, you've got our boy Kellen Moore down there running the show. I
Yep.
think that you saw them play better with Tyler Shutt at quarterback. Go ahead and help with that defensive side with a young playmaker.
I mean, add to because what they have Chase Young, yeah.
Sure.
I mean, if they do, you add another playmaker to that defensive line. It seems like their defense has some pieces, just not enough.
I think that's where they really need to really improve this year is defensively. All right, at pick number 9, the Kansas City Chiefs select
Mansoor Delaney, cornerback out of LSU. Big hole that they need to fill.
huge hole, right? You know, Trent McDuffie's not on this team. They also lost their other top guy. They traded him to Tennessee a
Mm-hmm.
couple of years prior. Oh, what is his name right now?
With Darius Sneed.
Yep, Legarius.
Yeah.
So I think it's a hole, and they need to obviously fill it.
And
And
this is such a deep class at corner. Such a good class.
yep.
Yeah. Fills a big hole and hopefully you get same production.
All right, pick number 10, the Cincinnati Bengals select.
Caleb Downs, safety at Ohio State.
Caleb Downs is just a stud, right? And the Bengals a few years ago had just an immaculate secondary, and especially in the safety room, right? They had
Oh,
Jesse Bates patrolling back there. They tried to, you know, catch lightning in a bottle with Geno Stone, and it didn't work out. Caleb Downs plays all over the field. He is a maven, and I think that that is something that this Cincinnati defense needs. And with the firepower that they have offensively, the biggest issue when you've got Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and now Chase Brown really ratcheting his game up, you need to put as many assets defensively as possible because the AFC is kind of turned into the offense league, right? You're going to need to be able to stop some high-powered offense, whether you're looking at the Bills, the Chiefs when they're really clicking.
healthy.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Ravens are a tough matchup with Lamar. You've got Drake May led Patriots and their rushing attack. Like there are definitely some heavy hitters. Go to the Chargers as well. Like you're gonna need to be able to stop teams, and I think Caleb Downs is a do-it-all safety that can really raise the floor for this defense.
Yeah.
All right. And pick number 11, the Miami Dolphins select.
Spencer Fano, tackle out of Utah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know who's catching the ball down there,
I,
but I
yeah.
I didn't like the profile of any player at this position where I think that the Dolphins have tried for years to really get their offensive line right, and they've had to continue rolling Austin Jackson out there, which he's had some good years, but he's been a big frustration point for Dolphins fans. And potentially being able to move him inside. And I think whoever you're going to put at quarterback, which it's probably going to be Quinn Ewers, could be someone in this draft if they make a move up in the second round. I don't think you're taking a quarterback here at 11. You could later in the first if you were feeling froggy and wanted to go get like
No,
Ty Simpson. I don't have it in this one, so I'm not spoiling anything. But
they just paid Malik Willis. They're not they're not going to get another quarterback. They're going to see what he can do for a
All right.
full year under a new head coach.
Malik Willis has had some high moments, especially with Green Bay, but you saw some low moments when he was with Tennessee. What did Tennessee have at the time? Not the best offensive line. Go ahead and beef up this offensive line and give Malik Willis something to stand behind and be able to show some more glimpses of what we saw last year.
Yeah, agreed.
All right. You have pick number 12, the Dallas Cowboys.
They select Jermod McCoy, corner out of Tennessee.
Probably second rated corner out of this class when you look at the year that Diggs had a couple years ago, and now he's no longer on the team. This is a team that has good firepower offensively, but has traditionally been taken out of contention by their ability to give up the long ball, especially on the perimeter. So go ahead and get me a corner that should be a playmaker in the league and can really slide into this defense and hopefully take them up to another level.
Yeah.
All right, at pick number 13 was the Atlanta Falcons, but that was traded last year to the Los Angeles Rams.
They select Makai Lemon, wide receiver out of USC.
Kyle Lemon is a little bit more of a slot type player. He's a little smaller, and I think when you look at having Puka Nakua, you have a team that was right there with the Seahawks to go to the Super Bowl. This is kind of a luxury pick. So go ahead and get a guy who offers a different skill set than your all pro wide receiver in Puka Nakua and a future Hall of Famer in Devontae Adams, who's one of the best guys in the red zone. What you're really lacking in that scenario is someone to run the slot. And they took flyers on guys like Tutu Atwell in the past in the second round, hoping that he would evolve into a playmaker for them, and it never really seemed to take hold. Makai Lemon has done that at USC, and I think that getting him as a slot threat can be something that really helps this Rams team immensely.
And puts them on another level. They already made a move to bolster their defense. Why not bolster their overpowered offense, right? And give Mike McDonald more fits on how to stop it.
Yep. All right, pick number 14, the Baltimore Ravens select.
Oliva Vega, Ione, guard, Penn State. Way better than the trial run.
Was Kevin Zeitler still a free agent out there? And ultimately, when you look at the Ravens, you saw Zay Flowers that was selected to the Pro Bowl this year. And obviously, what you've got in Mark Andrews helps in the passing game. But this team is predicated on Lamar Jackson doing things with his legs and Derrick Henry getting to feast. Go ahead and beef up that interior offensive line with the top guard in this class. And we're starting to get accustomed to see guards going, from picks 13 to 20. So I don't think this is too far of a stretch. Go and give me top guard in the class for a team that really is going to want to run the ball, especially when you look, I think what we have, Jesse Minter is the new coach, who's a defensive minded guy. Go ahead and give me something to beef up that line so I can know that my running game is strong to chew up clock so that way my defense gets a little bit more breathers on the sideline. All right, at pick number 15, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select.
Kenyon Sadiq, tight end, Oregon.
Kate Otton's not there, right? They've been a team that does well with top flight tight ends, right? Or at least highly athletic tight ends. You look at times when they had Austin Seferian Jenkins, even a sneaky Cameron Brate. You get Rob Gronkowski for the run. Kate Otten, I think, surprised people with his athleticism. But Kenyon Sadiq is hands down the top tight end. And you have a team that you lose Mike Evans. Let's go ahead and attack the interior a little bit more here. Do you have great pieces? Like I mean, you still have Chris Godwin, you still have Jalen McMillan, and you
The
still
rookie the guy they drafted last year. Uh,
Mecca Buka.
yep, yep. Washington product.
Yep. So you go ahead and make this team more aggressive offensively because that's the type of player that Baker Mayfield is. You have Bucky Irvin back and healthy. You can attack the defense later, makes your strength stronger in a division in the NFC South that is
Could go
open
any
for the
which way.
taking. Like
Yep.
I like what the Panthers did in the offseason, but they still just don't wow you with what they can do offensively with Bryce Young. So I think that if you can outscore teams in the South, you're going to be in a good spot.
Yep. Especially now the Tua led Falcons.
It's going to be Penix.
Well, if Penix is healthy come season start.
He'll be fine.
I
Text
know
me.
that's our boy.
He
That's our
texted me.
boy.
He says he's going to be all right.
All right, all right, all right.
All right, pick number 16. It was the Indianapolis Colts, but they traded away for Sauce Gardner. And the Jets are on the clock, and they select.
Avion Terrell, cornerback out of Clemson.
Um, Lineage of AJ Terrell that has carved out a good role with the Falcons. Might as well go all in on defense, right? You've got a defensive minded head coach. I think that you have some fun things going on offense. I think that Gino's going to be able to bring you a higher floor than you saw last year. So keep building this defense in the way that you want it to look, and let's find a replacement for Sauce Gardner with the pick that was traded for him, right? Here's your spot. Go ahead and make it happen. Here we go. Let's ride. All right, pick number 17. The Detroit Lions select.
Monroe Freeling, tackle out of Georgia.
Be completely honest on this one. Lions have usually had a traditionally strong line. I looked and said they needed a tackle. I went with top tackle that was available on the board. And that's really all I have for this pick.
It's fair.
All right. Pick number 18. The Minnesota Vikings select.
Dylan Dynaman, safety out of Oregon.
Harrison Smith retiring. I think that when you look at them being able to bring in Kyler Murray to compete with JJ McCarthy and probably win that job, they've done well in those types of situations. Offensively, that they should be taking a step forward with Kyler and his accuracy and his playmaking ability to pair with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. Go ahead and give me some help defensively to go and replace a guy that is a borderline Hall of Famer.
Yeah, and it also pairs him with Brian Flores. And what we've seen him do with that Minnesota Vikings defense has been extraordinary. I think you insert best safety available and try to get a little like because they have been getting younger on defense, right? They have been drafting younger and younger. Finally get that last piece in there and start the youth movement. That's all I got.
I like it. At pick number 19, the Carolina Panthers select.
Akeem Messidor, edge out of Miami.
They go ahead and get Jalen Phillips, who is arguably the top pass rushing name on the open
Yeah,
market. But
stud.
um, I didn't love any playmakers offensively, especially I'm looking more in the tight end room. You know, if Sadiq's here, I think this is a great landing spot for him. Um, but there wasn't a wide receiver that I thought could really be a game changer for them here. They have a bunch of guys, right? And they have Tet McMillan now that's leading that room. I think that they need some more guys. I don't think that the value's there. Let's go ahead and take a
Yeah,
defense that is a very good unit, and they've made some good moves. Go and give me another guy that can get in that backfield and disrupt it and put your offense in better positions.
Yeah, with them on the offensive side, it seemed like Xavier Legette kind of took a step forward, which is why they
It
got.
was more Jalen Coker that took the step forward. Legette's kind of an enigma.
eh, we'll see. I agree. It's not deep in this draft for wide receiver,
I mean, there's
in my
going to be some
opinion.
guys that are going, but I think I didn't have a guy that I think filled the other outside position that I think you need opposite of Ted McMillan that I would want to
Hmm.
take here that I didn't think I could address potentially later in the draft.
Fair.
All right, pick number 20. The Dallas Cowboys are back on the clock, thanks to the Green Bay Packers, and they select.
CJ Allen, linebacker out of Georgia.
It's theme here. The offense, I think, is going to be strong. Where do they need the most amount of help? I think it's defensively. So go ahead and get me someone that can go be a leader in that second level, be a top flight guy. You're going and getting a cornerback and a linebacker. And the Cowboys have traditionally had a strong linebacker room. Let's add to that with CJ Allen coming from Georgia, which has known to produce some pretty solid linebackers in the NFL. All right, at pick number 21, the Steelers select.
Jordan Tyson, wide receiver out of Arizona State.
I think this is a guy that doesn't need to be the number one. I think he can complement a little bit better with this team because you have DK Metcalf, right? That
And you have
we
Michael Pittman.
and you have Michael Pittman now. Where Jordan Tyson fits in, he's a little bit smaller. He's a guy that can run the slot, and I think that that's something that you've looked at in the past because everyone knows that Aaron Rodgers is coming back to the Steelers at some point in time. Aaron Rodgers loves slot receivers. He has his whole career, right? He's made his hay chucking bombs to the guys on the outside. But I mean, Randall Cobb was his favorite target almost for the entirety of his career. Guy loved feeding him the ball. Go and give me a guy that can slot into that type of role in Jordan Tyson.
All right.
Pick number 22, the Los Angeles Chargers select.
Emmanuel McNeil, I'm guessing at his last name, Warren, safety out of Toledo.
Give me a guy to pair next to Derwin James. Derwin James is a huge playmaker. This guy is a little bit more of a free, being able to play a little bit more over the top safety. I think you've got the pieces offensively to really get this thing churning. I think it's put more and more effort defensively. You know, you got Harbaugh down there, who is a defensive guy, and obviously he's also been a good quarterback guy too. So being a former quarterback, you've got the pieces, right? I don't think that you're going to see Lad McConkey have the year that he had last year, and you're hoping that Quentin Johnson can really continue on what he did. You have oh, what is his name? Aronde, the tight end, and Amari and Hampton, and you felt like you upgraded some spots along your offensive line. So go ahead and get more help on the defense, and really help over the top.
And you're hoping to get all of your really good pieces back from injury on your offensive line. All of your all pro guys are injured.
Yeah. All right, big number 23, the Philadelphia Eagles select.
Lamar Cooper Jr., wide receiver, Indiana. I think this is a little foretelling.
It's Fernando Mendoza's top target last year at Indiana. And for me, this is a soft landing spot for him because you have AJ Brown and you have Devonta Smith.
Not for long.
I don't think that AJ Brown, I think that if they see some struggles early, that AJ Brown is out the door. So being able to have that little bit of softer landing spot and probably grow into something pretty quickly. I mean, I think that if
And
AJ
they,
if AJ Brown finishes the year with the team, I'd be surprised, but I think that he's gone after next year regardless. So having another guy that can
even if
come in,
even if he starts with the team, or if he doesn't start with the team, I think it's still a soft landing spot because you have Saquon. You have Devonta Smith. You have Dallas Goddard still. You have the pieces that you need without AJ Brown for this guy to fit in almost seeming.
True. All right, now we've got the Cleveland Browns are on the clock, courtesy of the Jacksonville Jaguars at 24, and they select.
It's an interesting name. Keldrick Falk, edge out of Auburn.
I'm focusing on the trenches for the Browns. And yes, they did go get AJ Epinesa from the Bills. But being able to take pressure off of Miles Garrett is imperative to this team. I think building this team out from the trenches, Cleveland, even when they've had their big successful years, I mean, you look at it, it was gritty, it was grimy, it was Derek Anderson, it was Peyton Hillis. Throw in Trent Richardson's rookie year. It's like they get the ball
Josh
moving in,
Gordon
and even in the last couple of years, Nick Chubb, right? Their identity
Baker.
is to pound the rock and be devastating defensively. They have a good unit. Give me another guy opposite of Miles Garrett, which the line always shifts towards Miles Garrett. There's going to be opportunity. I think that AJ Epinesa is going to get some of that, but go ahead and get me a guy fresh in the league. And being from Seattle, we know that Auburn has produced good defensive ends like Derek Hall.
And I believe they got the top tackle or defensive tackle in the draft last year, Mason Graham.
They did.
So add to that and keep pounding it. Add a rotation in there, something that keeps guys fresh for longer. Seattle proved that it works.
All right, at pick number 25, the Chicago Bears select.
Denzel Boston, wide receiver, Washington.
I think Denzel could go a little bit later, but I like this fit, especially with DJ Moore no longer being on this team. Yes, you have Luther Burden. Yes, you have Roma Dunze. Denzel Boston is a stud, and he is one of the best at high pointing. He's great with contested catches. He can stretch the field. He can
It's
be a
Roma
volume guy.
Dunze.
He's very similar to Roma Dunze. But what I do like about Denzel Boston is his catch radius, which is on par with Rome, but I feel like his hands in college were just so immaculate. And when you look at
Yeah,
a team that plays in harsh conditions, having a wide receiver with good grip and he could really help change this team. And Ben Johnson took a big step forward with his team last year. Their defense still plays tough. I think you can still address that, but you still want to make this easier and easier for Caleb Williams. And I think that Denzel Boston does that. He's a security blanket. He's the thunder blanket for your dog, right? Your dog's freaking out. You throw the thunder blanket on him. This is Denzel Boston. Comfy, makes you feel comfortable. All right. Pick number 26. The Buffalo Bills select.
Colton Hood, cornerback out of Tennessee. Big area need.
I mean, their whole defense is a big area of need. Their offense runs at such a high clip, even without elite wide receivers. It's, with Cook and Allen back there, they are cooking, and with their duo of tight ends. But their defense got to stop some people, and they've been searching for corner help since Stephon Gilmore was really prominent with them, right?
Yep.
So go and get a guy that's two Tennessee cornerbacks taken in the first round in this mock, and both of these guys I've seen littered through many mock drafts. Colton is a good player, and that's what this Buffalo Bills defense needs is good players.
Yes.
All right, pick number 27, the San Francisco 49ers select.
Caden Proctor, tackle out of Alabama. Got to replace Trent Williams at some point.
Caden Proctor is an absolute stud physically. I think that if he can take some time behind Trent Williams, because I do think that they're trying to work out some restructure, but I do think this will be his last year with the 49ers. He's had some injury history the last couple of years as well. This is good insurance, but I think
He's
that
also 40.
I mean the other thing with Caden Proctor though, I think he needs a little bit more polish. He has all the tools out there. Needs a little bit more polish, and
Mhm.
the, Trent Williams has been one of the top tackles, maybe one of the best all time. I mean,
Sure.
he's in that conversation. You know, who is the guy that I'm missing right now? I was thinking of the Browns left tackle forever, just the epitome of consistency.
It's not
It's
he's a
Joe.
he's a he's it's Joe something. He's an analyst now. Like has like the longest streak of games played. Like you throw him in there, you throw like
Joe Thomas.
yeah. There's a couple dudes of recent memory that you're just like, my goodness. Like Jason Peters for the longest time, right?
Yep.
Was an absolute demon.
And I think that with Caden Proctor, that gives you insurance in a spot that I think you need it. Plus, it's a Shanahan offense. He loves motion and he relies heavily on his offensive line to do the job. And I think Cade Proctor has all the tools to do it. I think he needs more polish. And I think that this is probably the best landing spot for him as a player.
There.
All right. At pick number 28, the Houston Texans select.
Cassius Howell, edge.
Nope.
Or no,
The
Blake Miller, tackle. Clemson, sorry.
read the wrong card.
Sorry. Sorry. Yeah, mishap.
Um, this team can be pretty dangerous. Um, I would have liked to look at the running back, but I don't think there's a guy that fits for them here. And CJ Stroud took a little bit of a step back last year, right? But I think that getting Tank Dell back is big. He's his little security blanket. What you saw out of Nico Collins is impressive, right? But your defense is stout. It's how can you make CJ Stroud's life a little easier? Go and give me some more offensive linemen. I don't, they got Dalton Schultz in the tight end room. And like I said, it's just not the spot where I want to look towards running back in this year's
They
class.
tr didn't they also trade for running back? So it's not Joe Mixon, right?
No, they released Joe Mixon.
I thought they got somebody.
Oh, no, they did.
They
Dave
did.
Montgomery.
Yes, they did
Yeah.
trade for David
So that
Montgomery.
helps there. Go ahead and open up some more lanes. My bad.
Welcome.
Totally forgot about that one.
You're welcome. Good thing I pay attention to most of the league.
All right, pick 29 from the LA Rams. The Kansas City with their second selection in the first round is
Cassius Howell, edge out of Texas A&M.
top edge guy on the board. You want a guy opposite of Karlaftis. You still get good play out of Jones in the middle. This is another team that can usually hang in there offensively, but you saw a little bit of a step back and you lose Trent McDuffie, you lose Snead the year before. Like we addressed corner, let's go ahead and get after the quarterback a little bit more because that's when they're at their best.
Yeah, I mean, they brought Travis Kelce back for 3 years.
It's like a 1 year deal that ends up that they talk about it after every year and it's a non-binding, but if he decides to play, he's under contract type of thing.
Oh, okay.
All right. Pick number 30 from the Denver Broncos, the Miami Dolphins
Some
select.
sometimes I just think you pick players that are gonna throw me for a loop. Uh, I'm just gonna go Casey Conception, wide receiver out of Texas A&M.
Tyreek Hill is no longer in the building. This pick was acquired because you traded Jalen Waddle. you need to have weapons in the wide receiver room. And Casey Concepcion is a little bit more
Uh,
smaller bodied, and I
I
think
was
that
right the first time.
he can really do some things that can help make Malik Willis's life a little easier.
Yeah.
All right, at pick number 31, the New England Patriots select
Caden McDonald, defensive line, Ohio State. Or was that D tackle?
defensive line. I don't think they separate D tackle and all that. Um, you get Campbell in last year's draft. Obviously, he did not play well in the Super Bowl, but I think your bigger holes are on the interior of the offensive line. Not a real good spot here to go make that move. So I go to the defensive line where, yes, they still have talent, but I believe they lost their top guy in free agency this year. Go and get a guy that comes from a school that has a great pedigree of producing high caliber defensive players, especially along the line in the NFL out of Ohio State. Caden McDonald, stud. Go ahead and put him on this team that plays very well defensively already.
Sure.
At pick number 32, your Seattle Seahawks get this pick because they are Super Bowl champions. So that's why they have the last pick in the first round. And with that pick, they select
Brandon Cisse, cornerback out of South Carolina.
played alongside Nicky Manwari, was another demon down there. He's another guy that is just physically imposing. And
Freak metrics.
when you lose Reek in free agency, and I'm not just saying you get him because he played with Nicky Manwari, but you saw Cisse on tape when they were showing Manwari highlights at South Carolina, right? This guy is a good ball player. We talked about this being a deep cornerback draft. I mean, there's quite a few corners going off the board. I think when you look at the Seahawks outside of running back, this is their biggest hole. And it just lines up with the value here. I think the Seahawks are going to address a running back in the second or third round, but the value's not there. I don't think that there's a
I
guy
don't.
that can jump that high. And I know that John Schneider loves surprising us, but he did that in a handful of years. You had Rashad Penny, you had LJ Collier, but he's getting back a little bit more to the norm and a little bit more to the consensus, right? And you've seen that play out pretty highly. The Charles Cross, the JSN, the Devin Witherspoon, Gray Zabel. These are all guys that were picked very early. You know, even Byron Murphy, another one, huge one, right? You look at
Mhm.
all of these guys and they just fit a need, and the value was also there for that pick. And it's just laid very well into the Seahawks' hand. And I think that with this deepness in the cornerback class, it happens again.
I could see them going corner first round, defensive end second round, maybe a running back in the fourth.
If I'm being completely honest, I think that if there's a team that's trying to jump up to get Ty Simpson so they can have that option on the fifth year, which is something that is nice to have, and especially if you can get a guy at the very end of the first round, like the Ravens did with Lamar, right?
It's not as
It put
expensive.
it's not as expensive and it gives you a little bit more time to evaluate. And I think that in doing that, you're going to potentially, if you're the Seahawks, get an additional day two or early day three pick by moving down a handful of spots. And I think that could be advantageous because I think Cisse could eventually be there 5, 6 picks into the second round if needed,
Mhm.
right? So if you have a team that wants to jump up moderately at that point, or, you could see something where maybe there's a team that is uncertain. It's a little bit later down the road. Maybe they've got an aging quarterback and really want to move. Then you're looking at future first rounders. You're looking at a second plus a third, probably plus more. And I think that could be very intriguing to the Seahawks when they do have a handful of holes. And I think that making sure that you have value in being at the end of the first, second, and third round hurts that value a little bit. So being able to get in the middle of some of those rounds, I think could be advantageous to really maneuver the draft in a way that really puts a cherry on top of what Schneider and McDonald have done over the course of the last two
Yeah.
years.
And here's the thing. They're gonna take like who they think is best, right?
BPA, best player available, is what they've
Best
been.
player available, best athlete available. They take a lot of other metrics when taking into their pick. If anything's a thing of last year, it's going to be a leader, a physical freak, and just can do anything on the football field, right? So, yeah, I don't think I botched that many names.
No, you didn't. And I know in the last episode, I said go hit us up if you wanted to give Kane a slap for his takes, but on this one, you can go give him applause for how well he named all these names. But before you do that, you should follow me, your boy Coach Red, on X at the Real Coach Red, on Instagram at the Real underscore Coach Red, TikTok at the Real Coach Red. Also find the show over on YouTube. Search Kicking It with Coach Red. Like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and leave a comment or two. Kane, where you at?
Find me over on Twitter, Kane2406, TikTok, Kane0624. Also follow the show's socials over on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Red Pod. False. Do freaking do it.
And as always, stay fresh.
Stay fresh, peeps.
Peace.